We're live right now. I'm gonna wait for some people to join. So, I'll wait a little bit. Gotta go dump one of the dehumidifier buckets out. Apparently, I just remembered that. Ouch! That hurt. Wow, I already have 2 viewers. That was kind of quick. Oh dear, they changed everything. Of course they did. Where's the chat? Is that it? Okay, so there's no one in the chat yet. Yeah. Oh jeez, son. Get kind of the vibe going on in here. Looks kind of like... Jeez, my nose is like plugged up. That's crazy. The Montgomery Ward going. It's a bit warm down here, but the upstairs is cooled off, so this is running. Can't really see it. I gotta put a camera. Oh, it's just really brittle. Jeez, this is... Ugh. Ah, damn. Oh, jeez. That was one hell of a sneeze. The last live stream I did very well. This one's not doing very good, I would say, at least compared to the other one. Maybe I started the stream too late. I should have done it a few hours earlier. Yeah. I wasn't here a few hours earlier, though. I can say that. I feel very sorry for whoever came into the live stream and sees this. Just hope that doesn't fall off the microwave oven. Yeah, it deterred him so much that I just liked and then left the live stream. Well, no, I now see 2 likes now. Okay, there's something going on. Whenever you see likes, that's how you know real people are watching the live stream. Oh, there's a vacuum here. Yo, David's here. Hello. So there is real people watching the live stream. That's good, because I'll be doing a live stream. I just see random notifications just come in there, and they're just kind of like like random like watching status, and that's normally like ghosts, like actual ghosts. This is made out of steel. Yeah, the air conditioner is working real good. And wow, where this wire up here's like really loose. I never noticed how bad that cobweb was there, and I would need back hangs at some point, because I'm not too satisfied with these. I put these up because I wanted the opener to hang logo. Yeah, but I wanted, not logo, I wanted the garage door opener to hang low. I don't know if I have any. Well, I have this out here, this old Little Tikes vacuum. This is, I think, the only toy I have out here. It should be. I'm not sure if there's anything else. There's some like modern junk over there that I'm just gonna like tear apart and stuff. But I really love these old vintage plastic toys like this. These are built very well. At least all the old Little Tikes stuff. I actually, funny story about this, I actually smashed a real vacuum with this, and this was perfectly fine. It was like some really, really cheap, like, Eureka thing. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not into the newer My Little Pony stuff, at least the new stuff they have out now. I like Friendship is Magic and then everything before that. But I'm a 2000s kid, so that's kind of what I grew up around. So, not into modern MLP. The gear selector on this mower is getting pretty tough. I have another one. I kind of have the dim lighting going on with this. The camera doesn't really show very well, but there's nothing really down here to show. I did a bit of a changes to light. I had a little, well, I think I just nicked my finger. I had a little 25 watt incandescent here, but I switched this out with this Bug Light CFL because I wanted some yellow over here. I have a yellow incandescent bug light in this garage door opener on this side. The other side is a LED bulb that works intermittently. It's a faulty outdoor bulb. That's why it's kind of, that's why it kind of does whatever it wants to do. Oh man, this is some really cheap plastic. So I'm able to get the one bulb going on, because like after a while the faulty LED turns itself off. And then I have a green LED back there, which I got that from a family friend. They had green LEDs in their porch lights, and they ended up replacing them with Philips Hue bulbs so they could change the color of those porch lights to whatever the heck they want. So that means they weren't just limited to green. Yeah. I need to actually, like, I want to look into the older MLP stuff, because I never really seen too much of that. My mom was around in that generation, so she got to see that. And all of that stuff. I'd say I think I should personally probably do a rewatch of MLP at some point in time. My one friend's a brony, so I might do it with him at some point if we ever meet up, but that's far down the road from now. But I don't think any of that stuff's going to be lost media, because a lot of it should hopefully be on like physical formats and streaming services, so it's able to be rewatched easily. that air conditioner has some real rattles to it. I might be replacing this one because this one uses a lot of power. The main thing that's kind of loud on it's this front grill. This front grill isn't fastened on the unit very well, so it kind of rattles. Sometimes I get the vent, got the little vent panel in there that's rattling because it's loose. I'll probably take it apart, run a screw through that so it stays closed. Maybe I'll put some tape here to keep this front grill on, because if not, excuse me, if not, the will kind of all like go out of the way and stuff. I like the clear control door and all the LEDs on it. I just think the idea of being able to see all the LEDs is cool. I almost got a smaller one, but I didn't for some reason. I love these WCI units, the digital controls. They're kind of finicky, but I really like them because all of the LEDs that light up. I have it with the timer on and the filter indicator and the energy saver, just so I can get as many LEDs on there as possible. Well, we'll see what is all the functions on this anyway, because it's been a while since I've looked at the control panel. I finally found all three to control knobs. So we have the one on thing that tells you that the timer's working. You have the power indicator, the cool mode, the energy saver, and then the filter check. What I could do with this is turn it on to about 7 or so hours, so that means it'll run overnight and keep the garage cool, and then by tomorrow the other unit upstairs will kick on, probably around 11 or so in the morning. So I'll probably set this to, I set this to 6 hours. I could do 7. I think I'll go with 6. So I'll set this to 6 hours. So in 6 hours, this should hopefully turn off automatically and not trip my breaker, because I have the unit upstairs turned off. I can turn it on. Maybe I'll do that afterwards. I'm not too sure. But it's a timer delay, and it's either a delay to off or a delay to on. You can have it, see where it says time delay, stop, and start. So if it's set to stop, after a certain amount of time it'll turn off. When I switch it over to start, the unit will be off, and then it'll turn on automatically at a later time. Hello, Austin. So that's how that works. Now, it was kind of ahead of its time. I think this is one of the first units to have a fully electric timer, right? I know there's some others that are fully digital, because they had one with like a vacuum fluorescent display on it and stuff. I'd like to find one of those, but this is it's kind of all mechanical in a way, because you do have the physical knobs you can touch. Everything's controlled via micro switches. Got the fan, for example. I have it set to high, so I have the best airflow out of it. We got medium speed, and then low speed. And the GE fan motor in this has some bearing issues, so occasionally it'll make some scraping noises when it runs for long enough. But we have low speed going right now. We'll go out back and check it, and it seems like it's quieted down on the low speed. I used to run it on low speed a lot, and low speed's pretty nice because it's very quiet and inconspicuous when it's running, because it doesn't make very much noise. Because this is a larger unit, it makes a lot of noise on the higher speeds because it's really pushing the air. I'd like to use that unit somewhere else. It just uses lots of energy. In our old house, it can't handle pretty much any of the other installations besides the first floor. I would consider stuffing this unit in like the living room window or something if power's to go out. By the way, how are the ceiling fans doing in the garage? They're pretty good. If you want, I can do a fan tour. Here's the backside, which you can't see because it's too dark and I didn't have a torch, but if you look up here somewhere, you can see the vent, which you can't, but Sanya rotary. I'm not feeling condensate drip out of here yet. Oh, I felt a little bit of wetness. That condensate? Yeah, okay, there's starting to be some condensate in here, so condensate's going to drip out soon. You probably also can't tell, but up there's a unit for the upstairs, so I can kind of see through there the lighting in the garage. Wow, I have 6 viewers right now. That's pretty good. I'm not sure, because once again, the YouTube thing's kind of knackered. I have the little unit, which 8K is actually pretty big. I don't have many of these. I need more 8K units. This one here, which doesn't run, I want to get it working. But there's an 8K unit over there between the shed and the garage. I'll show the inside portion of that. And during the day, if it gets really hot in here and I can't run the dehumidifiers, I'll run that unit. And that unit doesn't use much power, so I'm able to run this one simultaneously with the upper unit. I had a 5K here before, and with the 5K I just couldn't get enough performance out of it. And earlier today, I whacked it with the weed eater, and now the control panel's kind of fallen into the unit. You can't really see it because, once again, it's dark in here. But I'd also be worried with this unit because this probably really heats up the outlets. Do you have any mid to late 90s D-Blade Lascos? The one in my bedroom has been such a great fan, especially since I put a new motor in it. It runs strong. Yeah, I have quite a few D-Blade Lascos. I'm not sure if they're... I know for sure I have 3 over here, and then in my storage building I have an old Cyclone with a Marco motor in it. But I'll show all the ones up here. And if you want to see any of them run, let me know. I'll start off over here with the one that's not put away. This is I think a 1985 Galaxy 3713 in the box, which the box is falling apart. I need to get some tape on there. This is the plastic motor. And then with the pile over here, I should have 2. There might be another one. Yeah, the D-Blade Cyclone is rare. My friend in Florida has one, but both of ours are really out of balance. Mine's so bad to the point where I can't really run it, and the plastic on it's like starting to deteriorate. But I have another older box fan here for the D-Blade. This one is a Eastern Electric. It's a 2-speed plastic motor. And then I have a 90s Free 733. I might be getting another one of these soon. But here's the Free 733. I don't believe any of these others are D-Blades. I don't think so, because this one's a premium, so it has a video of when I went to Utopia Toys with models in Knoxville, Tennessee. My man has such a serious collection. Yeah, I got a lot, so we'll count all the ones we have here. Actually, we'll just count the box fans because that would be too long. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. There is 29, 30, 31 that are not here. Actually 34, because there's another fan downstairs. So I have a lot of box. Just my box fans. Thanks to you for the subscription, Uncle Larry. But that's just the box fans in the collection. That doesn't go... I think as of right now, out of all the fans types I have the most of, it's probably box fans. I like to stick more towards the smaller tabletop oscillating fans. Much like those over there and like that one. Those are what I want to collect. But a lot of really nice vintage box fans have came my way. If I get a car and a lot of time to go out to a certain place over... and next state over, I have a friend of mine that's willing to give me like 4 more box fans. That are also vintage and rare. So that's a lot of fans, which is kind of crazy. But if there's any fans in particular in my collection that you want to see a demonstration of right now, I can film them off or talk about them or anything. This boombox is not a fan. It should actually be inside of the other boomboxes. It can sit over here on top of this boombox. I just bought this one at a thrift store. I have to do some testing on it to see how good it is. It should be good because it's a Sony. See how many... anyone else commented. I don't see any more comments. But, yeah, definitely... man. or ask questions about my collection, because I like talking about it, or if you see something in the background that perks your interest, I can show it off too. Um, my oldest fan is a 1973 Frigid 14-inch free metal blade, GE motor. It is incredible condition for its age. As of right now, I don't know what my oldest fan is. Because I got rid of a lot of my older fans because I have a friend nearby that likes the antique stuff, and he just gives me a lot of really good deals that I can't refuse. And because I see all the fans, I'm not sure. I don't think I even have anything in my collection from the 60s right now. That's kind of the crazy part, because I don't know if I have any 60s box fans. If it would probably go down to my oldest box fan, it would be, well, I mean, the oldest fan I own would probably be this box fan over here, which is a 1970 Lakewood Windsor P23, at least as of right now. And some of the fans I own, I don't have a year on, but I don't think I have any that are older than 70s, because I have this Kmart, but this would be a mid 70s model. This Duracrest, which I don't know too much, but it's a 7-wing Hunter. That's a 78 or 75, I'm not sure, somewhere between 75 and 78, because there's no date stamp on the motor because it's the Westinghouse. That Homecrest, I don't know. Apparently that actually has a GE export motor on it, so it has the faulty motor. Yeah, but those are all my, like, older fans from the 70s. I don't really... Oh, jeez. This is getting kind of stuffy. I have a 1974 Lakewood on a stand on the level below me, but I don't believe I have anything old. Just popped in. I have a 1971 Windsor 23 I picked up 2 months ago. Nice. I love mine. Mine's a 1970 model, so it's a year older than yours. I will say, I do have some old air conditioners. I don't have any, like, I mean, like, if you consider air conditioners fans, I have some really old ones. My oldest one is up here. It's a 1962 General Electric low thin line, but it's out of refrigerant, so I need to add more refrigerant to it. I have a junk unit sitting outside full of R22 I can put into it, and I save a lot of old refrigeration systems that have R22, at least I will be now. Those two units run just fine, but if for whatever reason I want to get rid of any of those, I'm keeping them for myself, taking the R22 out of it, and then actually the unit on the bottom's R410A. This portable unit might be getting scrapped, and that, I believe, has that's also R410A, if I remember correctly. Yeah. You have a big Gibson air sweep out there that also has R22 in it, but I'm still indecisive if I want to keep it or not. It's a 220 volt, but it's one of my dream units, so I can't get rid of it, really. Well, it's going to be hard for me because it's the unit I've always wanted. I've always wanted that style of Gibson air sweep. It's an early to mid 70s model. And yeah, if I can find a smaller, like a 8K or anything 8K, maybe even 10K, anything is 110 volt, that draws under 12 amps, I would be happy with it. You'll have to find a leak first. If you add refrigerant, it'll slowly leak out. Good point. I'm just not sure how to do a leak test, because I don't know much about refrigeration equipment. I'd like to learn about it, but my school didn't really have a program or anything. Well, the vocational school I went to didn't have anything related to HVAC, so I never actually I never really figured out how to work with any of this stuff. I keep bumping into this lawnmower, that's nice. But, yeah, so that's kind of the thing. I know you can, like, pump down a system and then, like, put, like, nitrogen in it. I'd have to get, like, some, like, fittings to go on it. I have to get gauges. I'll probably need, like, a vacuum pump or recovery pump. I'll need some empty things to, like, empty cages or whatever to, like, put the refrigerant in. I need all the line sets and stuff. I don't have, and then also you have, like, to do it properly, like, legally, you have to get, like, a license and stuff, and then because my school didn't provide that as a program, well, who knows? If they would have added that as a program, it would have still been hard for me to go into between doing grounds maintenance and, and diesel mechanics if I would have gone into one of those. And obviously, I went into grounds maintenance, because you can tell by that hoodie there. And then even I'm still regretting not going into diesel mechanics. I'm still thinking, man, maybe I should have gone into diesel mechanic. I'm not sure. I would like to also, I like to also get some more R12 equipment. I want to get some sort of older window air conditioner from the 60s that has R12 in it. I have enough 60s air conditioners. I have 3 GE units from around the 60s. But they all have the GE rotary in them, which one of them is a super thrust. I have a thin line inside from 66. This thin line, I think, is a 60. It's not thin line. Well, thin line's a 62. The super thrust is a 68. But I'd like to get another 60s unit, like a Fetters wetter wheel, like one of the small 5K ones that pretty much just uses dehumidifier components. Here's what you can do: fill it up with R600, which is propane, in the refrigerator, which held pickled food. Man, if I were to fill it up with a like propane or butane or anything, to get, I think there's, yeah, if I were to fill it up with that, or like diocylmethane or whatever, that's R32. I can't think of the. I know it has like, it's like dio something hane. If I were to like put like some sort of flammable refrigerant, I don't know if like it would like spit out like a flamethrower, or if the whole thing will just explode. So who knows? Maybe you're joking about it and saying that, oh, you could fill it up with flammable refrigerant and see. Well, also, I wonder if I could put flammable refrigerant in there, like R600 or something like that, or butane, and just run that in there. And I wonder if the R22 system could run with that. I'm not sure. I have a few R600 machines. The dehumidifier in my basement is R600. I have that window unit, which is R32. The unit upstairs is R32, and it kind of scares me with these two units, just because they both have the GREE compressor, and the GREE compressor is a compressor that was used in those recalled dehumidifiers from the mid-2010s. Maybe we should just put in compressed air and use soap spray. Use soap spray trick. That's probably what that'll probably work the best, because I believe, if I remember right, R22 is a somewhat high pressure. It's under, well, a lot of all refrigerants under a pressure, but R22 has a good bit of pressure to it. Now, it's not as high as like R410A, because R410A, that has like a really high pressure to it, if I remember right. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Sean, I'm pretty sure, knows what he's talking about, because I think he works with this type of equipment. And then R12 is a low pressure, but all of these refrigerants should have a pressurized charge system. And I will say, a lot of the older units, I've not seen many of the older units have leaks. I've seen modern units only last like 3 or 4 years and then get a leak. Most likely with dehumidifiers, because the brazing jobs they do on the modern dehumidifiers is kind of abysmal, and they just tend to leak. I'm surprised that Frigidaire is going as long as it has. It's still working just fine. I don't know how much longer, and it even has R410A in it. I don't. Just seen others work with refrigeration systems. Yeah. And then I also have things like this refrigerator. This is a early 50s or late 50s. I don't know. Maybe it was like a 59. Maybe it was a 49. I can't remember. Someone told me the date on this, but I can't remember. But anyway, old GE. I need to put new seals on it. The seals on it are going out, but that's not the point. This is an R12 system, and this thing is almost a century old, and which is kind of like, it's getting close to being a century old, and it still runs just like new. It has no major issues besides the seal going bad. There's minor chippage and rust. It's missing all the doors that slide in there. I had another one of these that was smaller, but I sold it off. I should have kept it, but I sold it off for some reason. But chrome badge. And yes, I do have the trim ring for here. It's right up there. I'm more first with mechanical items like engines, washers, and anything else you could think that's mechanical. I will say I'm the same because I'm always tinkering on with motors. I'm pretty good with like doing motor diagnostics and stuff. I don't really know how to like do the varnishing and stuff. I have a friend that does a lot of the varnishing. That does that and like does like a lot of the soldering and the more in-depth stuff. I do more of the basic stuff. I know how to take apart a motor and like a non-serviceable, quote unquote, non-serviceable motor. I can take one of those apart, fill the bearings up with oil, clean the dust out, possibly even replace bearings. It's easy to do that, like if there's like a motor shop ball bearings and stuff, like things like that. That's something I know how to do. Um, and do like basic electrical stuff. Like I can replace the wiring in something. I don't know if there's ever been any fans I've replaced the entirety of the wiring in. I would say I had an old 40s Emerson oscillating fan, and I did do a lot of uh, rewiring of the switch and stuff, but I still had to. Yeah, I considered to become a car mechanic when I was in high school, but since today's cars are insanely complicated, I lost interest. I can't blame you. That was actually one of the reasons why I didn't really go into um uh why I didn't go into being a diesel mechanic, because a lot of the modern diesel engines, they're very complex. Well, I'd say a lot of the older ones, because you have the older uh, Navistar DT360A, where you have like a mechanical injection pump and stuff. The more complexity there is, something the higher possibility of something failing and breaking. Yes, like that dehumidifier. But um, the older diesels, they were all mechanical, so if something were to go wrong, you could kind of figure it out with how it was running, because if something would break a certain way, it would kind of go out like that. Um, and a lot of like basic like small engines are the same way, but they're a lot more simplistic. Like, we'll take this lawnmower for example, because this had an issue. It was running just fine, and then one day it just wouldn't run. So we tried cleaning the carburetor. The carburetor was fine. Um, we tried checking the fuel lines. We checked for spark, and there was no spark. So we checked the switch to see if the switch was fine. The switch had continuity. And then we checked the coil. We put the coil on another Lawn Boy with the F-Series engine, and it didn't run on that. So we knew the coil was bad, so I bought a new coil online. I actually had to modify the coil because the coil that they sent me was the wrong coil. IMO engines shouldn't have progressed in the past OHV design. Overhead cam engines are a pain in the ass to work on. I don't know if I've ever worked with an overhead cam. I don't know. I'm not sure the difference between an overhead cam and an overhead valve. I've had to work on plenty of the Briggs & Stratton Intech single-cylinder engines. Those things are god awful. I hate working on those. Those are so problematic, and they have so many valve issues. My lawn tractor has one of those, and it's not here right now because it's broken and it was stranded at a friend's house. It'll just crank and crank and crank and crank, and it won't even start because the valves go out of adjustment. The timing just gets slightly off, and it won't run the way it's supposed to. It won't fire up when it's hot. So if you are driving it and then you stop to take a break to go do something else and you kind of let it sit, it won't fire back up for you. And because of that, I don't know if like the battery is charging or something, or if it's just dead because thing doesn't run the way it's supposed to. Not to mention my battery charger, one of the leads on it is very corroded, and now it heats up, so I don't have a battery charger right now. So my only resource to getting that working is by jumping it off the zero turn here, since that's the only other tractor I have and stuff. There's another person I know with a tractor and stuff. Overhead rocker cams, Briggs & Stratton engines, flathead engine, overhead cams. Okay. OHV has rocker arms, Briggs & Stratton engines are flathead engines, overhead cams. So Briggs & Stratton, they also made overhead valve engines, because they're Intech series. Those are overhead valves. I do know this. All the overhead valve engines from Briggs & Stratton, they're very problematic, and they They're prone to failure. But their flathead engines, like the 12-horse flathead that's on the majority of the older lawn tractors, those run flawlessly. The Classic series and the Quantums, those run flawlessly. Actually, a lot of the Quantum engines, those make it, is actually go up to like, not go up, but they tend to be used on a lot of commercial mowers and pressure washers and things. And they were pretty good. And then a few years ago, the EPA came in and it's like, you can't make these anymore. They don't comply with this government shit, so they had to redesign the engines, make them extra complicated, or maybe they just redesigned. Maybe the EPA didn't come in and they just decided to redesign the engines to make them more complicated, so they break down prematurely. Therefore, they make more money, and they can compete with whoever's up there in China making these Predator engines. Whether that's Lonson, Lonson's like the one I know. Lonson, Lifan. I know Subaru makes some, but they make those in Japan, and those ones are actually good quality. Kawasaki's in Japan, and those are also good quality. Probably because Briggs & Stratton doesn't have as much experience with overhead valve engines, since they have been making flat engines since the beginning of the time. Yes, that could be. I would feel like with as big of a company that Briggs & Stratton is, they would take like time to like have like R&D develop a good flathead engine, or maybe take I'm not flathead engine, a good overhead valve engine, instead of like going out to another company and grabbing an overhead valve engine and testing it out. Now, one of the big companies that makes that I would say makes good quality overhead valve engines would be Kawasaki. So I would see like going out to like Kawasaki. Well, flathead engines aren't very efficient. They will run for a long time. Yeah, and I will say, who cares about efficiency if the engine lasts long? These lawn boys, they're not very efficient, but the engines on them last forever. That's why I have a lawn boy, and this has been the main push motor I've used. I have this one. It's an overhead valve. You can't see it. It's a 2019 Toro Super Recycler with a 5-horse Predator on it, and this engine's pretty nice for what it is. But I will say the 2-cycle engines, they don't have as much torque as the older. I mean, not as the older, but as any of the gas engines. And then also the Classic Series Briggs engines, which are the older Briggs & Stratton engines, those don't have much torque, but it also depends on how long do you use them and if you run them with an air filter, because it seems like everyone just decides, hey, I'm going to run my Classic Series Briggs without an air filter. And that ends up to them with like scoring in the cylinder, and they lose compression. I have 2 examples of that as of right now in my possession. And it's simple because the air filters only cost probably like $5 at the most. They're not that hard to install. You just put a little bit of oil on them, squish them around a bit, and it'll put them in there. Here's one engine that literally will run forever, the Ford 400 inline 6. This is cast iron forming for the gears and produces lots of torque at low RPMs. Man, I would lie if I said I haven't heard of that engine. I'm not into cars and automobiles, but I've heard a lot of people talk about that particular engine, the Ford inline 6. I'm not sure which version, but I've heard various. I've heard people talk about even like the older inline 6s that were in like the Model A's, all the way up to like stuff from like the 1970s that they were putting in like the F-150s and things. But I've heard so many stories of just how tough those engines are and how much miles they can rack up. And I have a feeling like if you take care of those, they're going to last forever. But that was probably one of the better engines that Ford made. I believe like the Windsor V8 or whatever they had, that was more problematic. And that was when they were trying to experiment with like a V8 engine or something. Sean, you probably know a bit more about this. I don't know much about automobiles. But that was kind of like how it was, or at least what I know anyway. And a lot of this information was stuff that one of my uncles told me and my boss told me. So my boss, he grew up in a time where, and also in a poor family too, so his dad was a mechanic, so he knows a lot about vehicles, and he's taught me a lot of things like how to change stuff, but because it's literally the most durable engine ever made, still in production to this day for generator and marine applications. That surprises me. I'm surprised by that. Now Oh dear, what was that engine? The Navistar DT466, not to be confused with the Taiwanese fan motor, but the Navistar DT466 diesel. That was, I believe, that was started becoming popular in the 80s, and it was like a different, like, turbocharged version of the DTA 340, I believe, if I remember right. But that engine was, I believe it might even still be in production today, but it went through several revisions in the late 2000s, early 2010s to meet up with emission regulations. But that engine, it's been around for a while and it's pretty well known. I know the Detroit 60 series, that was around for a while too, and that one was, I have a feeling that engine would probably still be in production too if it wasn't for emissions regulations getting in there. And I think Caterpillar should have left the 3126 around a bit longer because I have a feeling 3126 I think is a great engine. But when they switched over to the C7, which was bad, and then the C7 Acert, which was even worse, having to kill them with the light duty diesels. I don't know if they make anything else. But I've just heard a lot of good things about the 3126. I don't know because it's a cat, and I always consider cat engines problematic engine. So, and the Cummins 12 valve, that was a good one. And then they switched over to 24 valve design in I think 2000, and they kept with that. Well, it would be 99. The Ford Windsor engine started with the 221 in 1962, then became the 302, which was made until 2001. Ford made a 351 when 351 Cleveland and a 351 Mofield. I don't know what the difference between the Cleveland and the modified is. Why did I say Mofield? Modified. So this just goes to show you I know a lot. I don't. I say know a lot. I know very little about automotive stuff, so I'm learning. Completely unrelated. Every time I see that dehumidifier grill buried back there, I need to know that I have to take that dehumidifier out of the corner behind the stack of air conditioners, get it working, so I can put it over here in place of this Frigidaire, because this Frigidaire is problematic and I don't like it, because it makes a big deal whenever you take the bucket out and stuff, and it's annoying, and I don't like it, and it beeps at you. It's stupid. If you can work on lawnmowers, you can work on just about anything. You say that to a certain degree. I know for sure I can't work on watches. My hands are too big for that. Too much stuff going on with watches. Lawnmowers and stuff. I can say I can work on them. Oh yeah, I just realized. So I was talking about Kawasaki overhead valve engines. I forgot I have one back here. Well, you can't see it, but it's old school 90s Kawasaki overhead valve engine out of the old John Deere lawn tractor. These engines are... Oh, these are really nice engines. I love these. I have the exhaust for it right there, too, so it is complete. I just have nothing to put it on, and I don't have the right pulley to use on it or anything, but I love these engines for no reason. They are very reliable. They sound good. Like, they have a really nice exhaust sound to them. Yeah. I have a thing for the old, for pretty much any of the Kawasaki engines. I wanted to get, when I got the Zero Turn, I wanted to put a Kawasaki on it, but they don't, my dealer only had the Kohler. They made a Kawasaki version, it wasn't available at my dealership, and I wasn't going to drive like 4 or 6 hours away just to buy just to buy the Zero Turn or whatever. And if it goes down and gets broken, I want to have the local dealership because they have the warranty and stuff on it. I don't know if I could have like special ordered it from Toro online and then had it taken to the dealership, and then the people at the dealership work on it and unpack and get it set up. I have to go in a few minutes. I'm going to walk on the treadmill. Cool. I like living where I am, where there's sidewalks there, because I don't find walking on the treadmill very fun. You don't go anywhere. I've done it a few times in the winter. Because it'll get like -2 or something outside. I can't even go out. I do a lot of biking because it's a pain in the ass to get a license and stuff. So, well, my bike's outside. I thought I parked it over here. It's outside. I'll go out anyway because I want to check on the air conditioner. I don't have a torch, so I can't even see anything Well, the camera can't even see anything. Out here you have the sodium light, so you can see really good. The bug light's in there. It makes the sodium light look way better. But, yeah, my bike. It's a 2010s Schwinn of some sort. I got it for 50 bucks off of someone. Walk up and down. Let's see if the air conditioner's condensating. Oh, the compressor sounds really nice on it, I will say that. It doesn't feel wet around the hole, but I feel water inside of it. Something about this air conditioner is the heat that comes off of it's just extremely hot. If it's really hot out on a certain day, it will be literally very unpleasant to stand behind that unit. You can even see into the garage over here on the side. Does me or does the camera pick everything up much better when it looks in for this window? I don't know. See if anyone else commented anything else. No, no one else did. There are still more people, so if Sean leaves, there's other people I can still talk to about certain things. I don't know if anyone here wants to see anything, but I am still live. Once everything dies down, I'll probably hang up and then go in for tonight. It is a bit too late, but it's going to be really hot out tomorrow. I have a school meeting I need to go to, but besides that, should be free. So Sean is still here, that's nice. And this vacuum cleaner is a piece of junk. I don't know why I'm saying that, but it is, because it's really loud. I'm going to do like an overview of some of my power equipment. I'll show off these lawnmowers, I guess. Here is the push mower, the one with the overhead valve engine. This is a 2019 Toro Super Recycler with a 6 horse. I know it says 7.25, but that's a torque reading. It's not the actual horsepower. It's some stupid marketing thing. But, yeah, 5 horse. This engine does have a lot of torque, so it does really good in tall, thick grass. And this is a Lawn Boy. I think it's, they call it the Gold Series, but no, they had other models with the Gold Series brand on it. For Lawn Boy, I believe their Gold Series was the aluminum deck, cast aluminum deck, and it would have a free-speed transmission on it, self-propelled free-speed transmission. And there's a few differences to the Gold Series. There was one with, they made models with electric start. They had ones with this series, the F-Series engines, and then later on, they had some with the Artec Duraforce engines. And also, they had variants with the Briggs & Stratton Quantum. There could have even been Tecumseh variants, but I'm not sure. But this has the F-Series on it. The F-Series is my personal favorite because my dad had a Lawn Boy with the F-Series growing up. So, I have a biased liking towards this engine. But it starts and fires up really well. There's a lot of plastic and stuff up here in the handlebar. That's the one thing I don't really like, but you see, like, the plastic, that's what holds the handlebar in and also holds the everything else on it. I think the one connector down here, oh no, that's metal. But yeah, just kind of cheap and cheesy in a few aspects. But the engine itself, I find this F-Series, it's very, very simple and basic. There's not a whole lot going on. The throttle governor is controlled by an air vane. Yeah, I think that's like the most complicated thing is just that. And my modified hack job coil. This is a model 1515. I think it's a 1515. No, 10515. Okay, so it's a model 10515. I was close. I'm surprised I memorized the model number for this, but it's a 5-digit number, so it should be pretty easy. I don't even know what the model number for this is, because the data plate's all the way over here. It's kind of hard to get to, but I do like the deck. It's kind of like a bed liner. It's supposed to hold up really good, and I will say it does. And if I do leave wet grass in the bottom of this deck, it doesn't corrode, which is surprising. I don't think I've had many, like, I don't think I've had the paint chip really anywhere on it, with the exception of one time when a stone hit it when I was mowing. But it's been doing pretty good. And then, of course, like, you get the scratches over here on the side from brushing up against stuff. This mower's not that bad. I might put, like, a rubber thing over it. The one mower I got today was a cast aluminum deck, and that thing is awful. 1970 free pin crust. But I need to get a diaphragm for it, and it's the older style classic, and the diaphragms for those are kind of hard to find, but I was able to find one on Amazon. They're just kind of pricey because it's the older style, and apparently they're a pain in the ass to install. So I'm going to be reaching out to Zach's Mowers on YouTube, and hopefully he'll be able to walk me through the process. If not, actually, first I'll probably go and see if Turtle Fixes All has a video, and then I can use that as a reference, and then also have Zach walk me through it, just to kind of double check to make sure everything's fine. This jump pack appears to have power. I wonder if it'll fire up my Craftsman. Not much power, mind you, but... Put a brighter light bulb in here. To do away with this one, get an LED. I'm going to remove the thing from the jump pack, put one on there. Yeah, 'cause it's not even... the headlights aren't even glowing. Gotta check this pressure washer tomorrow too to make sure that works. I got it for free, so who knows? It's always a gamble, but it is looks like a 2000s or 2010s Karcher, and I've had good experience with Karcher products before. My neighbor had a Karcher electric pressure washer similar to that one, and it failed. But I don't know if that's like a random occurrence of just that one failing. I'm not sure. I've seen some pretty old ones that are still in active service, so I'm not sure. I'm unsure if it'll work, and I don't even know how it uses, because there's multiple hookups and things, so I might have to go online and find a manual for that model so I know how to properly use that unit. It's starting to feel nice and cool in here. Gotta fire up the dehumidifier before I leave, or it just doesn't... It smells like mold in here if I don't. That's the low fan mode. Go check this out on the outside, and since no one else is commenting, I'll probably end the video there. Oh, it feels much better out here now. Now we have it on high fan and a lot more heat distribution. I wonder if I can turn on my torch while I'm doing this. Oh, look at that. I can use my torch. Well, it wants to disconnect me now, but Sanya rotary is what we have in here. Leave the torch on so I can see if we have frost on the coils, because that might also be an issue. I do see there is frost buildup on the coils. I'll hang up now. Well, not hang up, but end the live stream.